Guide. This is a Ymir guide, but it is not for support. I've been on a little bit of a experimental binge here lately with a lot of different characters for the jungle. And Ymir, the build that I've put together for Ymir in the jungle is actually pretty freaking gross. Uh, so let's go ahead and hop straight into it. We'll talk about his abilities if you don't know. His passive ability is his abilities that affect enemies apply a debuff to the enemy called Frostbite. All of Ymir's basic attacks against the afflicted by Frostbite do 100% more damage. So, kind of like Polynomicon's passive, and I'll get more into that here in a second. Pretty much any ability that you use besides your wall, i.e. your 2, which is your Glacial Spike, or your 3, which is your Frost Breath, you will apply this Frostbite, and then your next basic attack will be increased by 100%. Okay, so, and the basic attack actually scales from 38 plus 1.55 per level, and plus 20% of your magical power. So it's pretty nice. Your first ability is an ice wall. It's pretty self-explanatory. You put up a wall, and it lasts up to 6 seconds at max level. So it's pretty good for either blocking the rest of the team off from a single person for ganks, or blocking off the whole enemy team from destroying your face, or your whole team's face. So place it wisely. Kind of like Thor's wall. If you place it badly, you kind of screw your team. So don't screw your team. Use common sense when using your wall. Glacial Spike smashes the ground, doing damage to all enemies in front of him, and slowing them applies Frostbite. The damage increases up to 370. The slow is 35%, and the slow duration is 4 seconds. This is really good to pair with a couple of I'm right freaking here, guy. Alright. This is really good to pair with when I get into the items, I'll go ahead and explain more about what rotations you'll be using for your abilities in order to get the max damage output for your ganks. Frost Breath is a freeze. Uses breath to freeze enemies in blocks of ice, doing damage and stunning them, applying Frostbite. The damage is 210 plus some of your magical power, and the stun lasts up to 2.25 seconds. Pretty self-explanatory kit. I'm pretty sure everyone here has played Ymir, so you should have a basic understanding of how Ymir works. And his ult, Shards of Ice. Ymir begins to freeze the air around him, causing shards of ice to grow on his back and slowing enemies. After a 3-second channel, Ymir erupts out of this frozen state, causing shards of ice to do damage to all enemies in his range, applies Frostbite, canceling the ability, decreases the damage. So it's kind of like a charge. Kind of think of Nice ult, when you have that ring going across, the more filled up the ring is, the more damage it does. Pretty much the same thing here. But you also want to use common sense when doing it. If you're only using it on a couple of people and they start to get out of it, obviously cancel it. You're not going to do as much damage, but at least you don't waste it. Okay, so the way that I upgrade his abilities is you want to prioritize your... You're going to get your 2 first at level 1 for camp clear, obviously. So you're going to go 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. So you're pretty much going to try to balance out your 2 and your 3 as much as you can. Your 1's not all that important right now, but your 2 and your 3 are the ones that you're going to want to focus on the most. Obviously, max out your... you're going to max out your wall last. That's pretty much what I'm saying. All that really does is apply a larger duration on which it exists, and that's not too big of a deal, but pretty much your 2, 3, and 4 are your main priorities in that order. So let's go ahead and go into the items we shall be getting. So the starting build I've been playing out with, I haven't found a 100% set in stone starting build for him yet. But the way I've been rolling with it is getting your tier 2 of Golden Sash, or tier 2 of Warlock Sash, which is Golden Sash. You're going to get that. It'll leave you with 50 gold left. Use Better Judgment. I normally go with a Healing Pot, just because you don't have the bumbas from the health back after clearing the minions, or the jungle camps, I should say. So tier 2 of your Warlock. On your first back, you're going to finish your Warlock Sash. On your first back, you're going to finish your Warlock Sash. That way you can start building the stacks up, because it's 50 magical power, 300 health, 400 mana. and it gives you plus 3 health and point 0.6 magical power per stack. Receive 5 stacks for a god kill, 1 stack per minion kill, max of 100 stacks. This gives you a really good health boost. With you going with this build, you're going to have a whole lot of health, but mind you, just because you have a whole lot of health does not mean you're really that tanky. You can take some punishment, but not a whole lot. So you really need to play kind of safe, like in the beginning, very safe until you get these first 3 items online. So Warlock Sash, and then you're gonna get your Shoes of Focus. I go with the cooldown because it's just his abilities have such a long cooldown. You can either stick with the cooldown boots, or you can go with the Magi boots, which gives you the 10 magical pen. But I really do think the extra mana and cooldown reduction is really thumbs up for Ymir. So Warlock Sash, Shoes of Focus. Now Polynomicon. This is very fucking gross with his passive, because his passive already increases his basic attacks by 100% when enemies are affected by Frostbite. Polynomicon's stats are 75 magical power, 300 mana, 10% lifesteal, which is good. Lifesteal is always nice. But the passive, using an ability gives your next basic attack within the next 8 seconds, plus 75% of your magical power as additional magical damage. This effect can only happen once every 3 seconds. So, what's really nice to see on a Ymir that's supposed to be played in support, that doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, is when paired with this and you hit somebody with a basic attack of 800. Yeah, it's fucking great. It's amazing. So, paired with that and your passive, you have quite the deal of damage output, especially early game with your third item being Polynomicon. It's pretty nice. After that, we're going to go with Soul Reaver for obvious reasons. It gives you the 100 magical power, the 300 mana. And when a god takes damage from your abilities, they take 15% of their maximum health and additional damage. If multiple gods are hit, the damage is applied to the one with the greatest maximum health. It will occur once every 60 seconds. Blah, 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 blah. So, pretty self-explanatory. An extra 15% of their maximum health as damage, as additional damage, is really nice. So, I'm going to stop right here for a second. Like I said, I'm going to show you guys pretty much what a good way to use your abilities are. I'm just going to use these guys. So pretty much when you first go in, you're going to want to hit him with the freeze first. And then the 2. That is pretty much... That's one way to do it. It really depends on the situation, on if you really need to use that freeze or not. Because if you can get away with using your 2, having your 2 proc with the Soul Reaver, because your 2 does more damage, it does 370 damage versus the 210. And right now it's at 178, but we don't have a full build online. So this is doing a total of what? 500? What did it hit on him? 419? Yeah. So, and I don't know if you saw that right there with the Polynomicon proc. So this is 92 damage normal without the Frostbite. Frostbite and Polynomicon, 143, 146. But that's not even a full build online. So pretty much, if somebody's running away, use your freeze. If somebody's trying to get out of a doorway, wall them off. Beat them down. A lot of people really don't expect a Ymir jungle anymore. From what I've noticed and heard, it's something that was done a lot in Season 2. But I never really had the chance to play around with it until now, and I am completely in love. Okay, so after your Soul Reaver, you're going to get Ethereal Staff. Ethereal Staff gives you 30 magical power, 400 health, 300 mana, and 2.5% of your maximum health is converted to magical power. Now, this is really good to party up with Warlock Sash because it gives you the plus 3 health per stack, 100 stacks, 100 times 3, 300 health. Doesn't really sound like a whole lot, but it's 2.5% of your maximum health. At the end of this build with full stacks of Warlock Sash, I'm pretty sure I got pretty damn close to like 3,800 health. So, whatever that is. Let me pull up the calculator because I'm a terrible mathematic man. 3,800. Oh, wait. I'm horrible at math, man. I don't know. However they decide to calculate it is how it works. So, okay, last item. Rod of Tahuti. Gives you 125 magical power, 15 MP5, and increases magical power by 25%. Right now, without any stacks of Warlock Sash, we are sitting at a nice and healthy 3290 health with 615 magical power. Before I take a little break to build up these stacks and show you what the final stats will be, let me go ahead and go through the relics. Your first relic you are going to buy for ganks, early game ganks, is going to be Blink. For obvious reasons, because it's really funny to set up inside of the jungle, look at somebody and be like, hi. That was the wrong spot. Look at me being a fucking moron. But yeah, when you can blink in, yeah, see, look at that. And this is without Warlock Sash. So, you're going to get blink. Last one is very situational. If you're against an Ares, get beads. If you're against heavy crowd control, get beads. If there's a lot of damage output that you find yourself not being able to get away from very easily, get Sanctuary. If they have a lot of curse on their team, get sprint to counteract that. If there's a lot of healing, get curse to counteract that. So, better judgment on your second one. I normally just go with Sanctuary, just to be safe. Alright, so give me just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and clear out these cams, get some waves going, get my stacks up, and then I'll come back and show you guys the final output, alright? Go back at 100, and I was a little bit off. Instead of the 3,800, I'm actually at 3,590 health, 3,590 with 700 magical power. And let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about now with the Polynomicon proc. It's actually not exactly 800, it's like 750 something basic attacks. But 600. Oh, come here, you son of a bitch. Yeah, it didn't work that time. You just die. 404 and 348. So you're doing 348 basic attack damage with people affected by frostbite, and then you are doing an extra 404 damage from the Polynomicon proc. Just like that. Boom goes the dynamite, like this. Oh, you just had to blind me, didn't you? So it couldn't fucking show it. Wow. Thanks. But yeah, it's pretty nice, especially with the cooldown on your 2 being so short. It's really good. I like it. I love it. And I want to see some more of this. This is really good. I would only recommend really doing this if you need an extra frontline. So because of the new meta coming out that has been released because of the changes to the very now OP as shit Throwing Dagger, which is a tier 2 of Golden Bow. We are seeing a lot more hunters instead of just a ADC in the duo lane. We're also seeing a lot more in solo and mid. So if you do have 2 ADCs on your team, I do recommend going with a more tankier jungler just to kind of add to that front line. That's why I started playing with Ymir more. Ymir is very nice to have paired up with another ADC. It allows you to take over the jungle a lot more in the early game. But if you do not feel safe going with a Ymir jungle, I do recommend going like a Bellona jungle, tier jungle. I've seen some people do that. You get what I'm saying. Just go tankier. But anyway, thank you all for watching. This is TechFan95's Ymir jungle build. If there's anything that you think that could be changed to work out better on this build, please comment below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go check out our Facebook page. It is in the description. And don't forget to check out the Twitch page as well. Like, subscribe. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Make the ground shake.